welcome to this tips and tools session on gradebook and attendance. So today we are going to be looking at setting up quickly and taking attendance in quickly, reviewing the no-show and leave policy and how to report no-show and leave grades. And then we'll look at the gradebook and using the setup wizard and then fixing some of the common errors that we show up with gradebook. So first, starting with our no-show and leave policy and procedure. So just to review, for no-show grades, so that's a learner did not attend any classes at all. If you are teaching a full semester course that meets on campus or a Zoom course that has scheduled Zoom meetings. For a class that meets 2 times a week, if a learner has not attended the first 2 classes in the first week and has not contacted you, then you need to assign them a no-show grade. If your class meets 1 time a week, after the second missed class and no contact from the student, you're going to report that. If it's a fully online class with no Zooms, then at the end of the second week, if no work of any kind has been completed and there's been no contact from the student, then you are going to no-show them. So with fully online classes, you do not need to have any particular assignment that counts for grades. So it can be that they need to be engaging with the work in the class. It's a good idea to have a specific day that you're taking attendance. So if you open that week's assignments on Sunday, Saturday or Sunday, and then Friday you take attendance at noon. So just have a set time that and day that you're taking attendance, and that students know that they need to have been need to have work completed by that time. So if it's a subterm um, on campus and scheduled Zoom, if it meets 2 times a week and they've not attended the first 2 classes in the first week, you're going to no-show them. If it's 1 time a week, if they miss the first day, you're going to no-show them. If it's a fully online with no Zoom, accelerated semester, at the end of that first week, no work of any kind and no contact has been made, they get no-showed. So with our with the L grade, so the left, so it means that they were attending class, but then they stopped attending class. So for the full semester, if a class meets on campus or has scheduled Zoom meetings twice a week, they attended the class, but have then but then they miss 3 consecutive weeks or 6 straight classes without contacting you, they're gonna get an L grade. If it's a class that meets 1 time a week and they had been coming, but then missed 3 consecutive weeks of class without contacting you, then they get an L grade. If it's a fully online class with no Zoom, they stop doing work and has not communicated with you for 3 consecutive weeks, then they're going to be assigned an L grade. Okay. So if it's an accelerated semester, then if it's on campus with a scheduled Zoom, 2 times a week. If they miss 4 consecutive classes or 2 weeks, they get L'd. If it's a once a week class, if they miss 2 consecutive weeks, they get L'd. Fully online, 2 consecutive weeks, and they get L'd. So That's just a review of our policy, and you can find documents that um, explain that on SharePoint, and it is all should also be in your syllabus, and it should believe it, you can. It's in the handbook as faculty handbook as well. So I'm going to switch from the PowerPoint for a moment here, and I'm going to show you how to set up quickly. So when you are in your class in Brightspace, you're going to go to the Grades tab and you're going to choose Quickly Attendance. So when you click on that, it's going to open up a new window. If you have not set up your attendance yet, you're going to land on this screen where it's to set it up. Then you just click that, and it takes you to the settings. And in your settings, you're going to choose how you want them sorted. I prefer last name. You might prefer a different method. That's fine. Um, and then your viewing preferences. So if you want to see the total number of absences that that student has as you're taking attendance, you can just select that. Um, and if you are grading the attendance, you can mark some things there. For attendance status, there's nothing for you to set there. This is preset for us. So these are what your different statuses and um, the corresponding color and symbols look like. The third thing that you want to do before you finish is to go to your grading. If you're going to grade students for attendance, then you are going to choose either session-based or absent-based. Session-based grading means that they are awarded points for attending. So then you can choose if you want a total number of points or points per session, what you want the grade column to be titled in your grade book, and then how many points that they are going to get for that session. So if we uh, say that it's going to be 5 points for attending a session, um, then or 5 total points, we put those points in there. If you want to use absent-based grading, that means that if they um, are absent, then they start at a total number of points, and points get subtracted um, for their for absence. If you use absent based grading, you put in your total number of points. The points per absence, you want that to be a negative number, because that's you're taking away points. Okay. You can also choose to forgive absences, and you can define how many absences they're allowed. Okay. So then once you set your grading, you're going to click Save Settings, and then you will be able to use the attendance. So when you're taking attendance, you can do the list, you get the list of your students, and you are going to mark the attendance. And this quickly attendance is only for attendance or absence. Reporting the no-shows and L grades is going to take place in the grade tool, which we will look at in a moment. So we are currently having some issues with Quickly not working the way that we need it to. And so sometimes you might get an error message. They are aware of the issues, and we are working to get that corrected. So that's getting your grade book set up, or your attendance set up. Okay, so we're going to go back to looking at our PowerPoint here. So when you, in order to report your no-show and leave grades in Brightspace, back on that grades tab, you're going to click Submit Final Grades. That is going to open a new tab that is going to give you this page that says Main CC Faculty Utility, and it's going to have submit midterm grades or submit final grades. So you're going to choose submit final grades, and it's going to give you a list of all of the courses that you are teaching. You select the course that you're teaching, and it's going to open a page that has a table that lists all of your students and their student number, the Brightspace numeric grade, and the Brightspace letter grade. In the field where with the Brightspace letter grade, you are going to have a box to be able to select the letter grade, no show, or leave. Those are the only three grading functions that you need to use. The other ones that are listed there, we do not use. So if you're submitting no show or leaves, you're going to choose no show or leave. It will ask you to put in the date of last attendance. So if it's a no show, then that's going to be the when the class started. If it's a leave, the last time that they were there. And it is important. So that's why it's important for you to be taking your attendance in quickly on a regular basis so that you have that information. And then you'll be able to submit the grade. So when you're submitting no-show and leave grades, you're going to click the blue Submit Grades button next to that in that student's field row. And then to the right of that is what is recorded in Anthology on the student's record. And so you'll see that show up there once that's populated. So the no-show and L grades you're going to submit in the final grade tool. All right, so our next thing that we want to look at and talk about is setting up our gradebook. So I'm going to switch to the gradebook. Let me get there. Okay. So to set up, so for your gradebook, let me find my correct screen here. Okay. So when you go to your gradebook, you're going to use your setup wizard, and you're going to need to run through that setup wizard if you haven't already. So you scroll down and click Start. The first step of it is to choose whether you're going to do weighted, points, or formula. Personal preference as to which one you use, however you want to set that up. So you're going to choose that, click Next, go to the next page. On the final step 2, the final grade release, this is the grade that the grade tool is going to pull from Brightspace and send to Anthology with the in the student's record. So you can choose calculated final grade column or adjusted final grade column. It does not matter which, it is your choice of which you use for that. The adjusted grade column allows you to modify or adjust a individual user's grades before you release them. You can then also, if you want to release grades as soon as they're created, you click that. If you want to wait to the end of semester or later into the semester before you release grades, you don't need to click that, but you will need to make sure that you release your grades at the end of the semester. Step 3 is calculated grades. You can of what to do with ungraded items and missing submissions. Again, this is your choice of how you run that. If you're going to, if you choose drop ungraded items, then that means that it's not going to get factored into the final grade when it's in process. If you click treat ungraded items as a 0, that means that if you've passed the due date and you don't have the grade in it, it's going to be a 0 on the student's average until you get a grade in there. And then auto update is a good thing to check. So then the next part is selecting the grade scheme. We use the CMC standard grade scheme. Most departments use that. You're going to choose that radio button, hit down, go down and hit continue. We're going to buzz through these. You need to make sure that all 4 of these things are checked. And then it's your choice as to whether or not you display this to your users. And then this last page is to review all your settings. So you're going to hit finish. And then you're ready to work in your gradebook. So one of the common issues that we have is you get this note saying that the final calculated grade sums to some number that is not 100%. And so you want your final calculated grade to sum to 100% no matter what your other settings are. So that means that we need to look at how to fix this. So if I go to manage grades, I can see my categories, which is the row that is kind of like this light blue gray color. So that's the category and the weight of the category. These 3 items here are in that category. And I have it selected so that the weights, that the points are evenly distributed across all items in the category. So those are in the category. These 2 items are not in a category. And then I have attendance, and that's 10%. And then I have all of these items that are not in categories. That is what is messing up my percentages. So to fix that, I'm going to select all and I'm going to click bulk edit. When I go into bulk edit, I can see the hierarchy of my grade items. I can see their max points, their weights, what grade scheme is assigned to them, and what category they're in. So I can see here that these 2 items are not in a category, and I need to get them in a category, but I don't have a category that matches where I want them. So that means that I need to go create a category. So I see that I'm going to need a discussion category and I'm going to need a quiz category. My attendance is good. And then I have all of these other things that need categories. So I am going to need to go back out of this tool and create the categories that I need to create. So I'm going to go to new and I'm going to click category. I'm going to have a category that is quizzes, and I want those to be 20, weighted 20%. I'm going to distribute weights by points across the items in the category. And then I'm going to save and new because I need to make another category that is discussions. And I'm going to make that to be 15 points. And I'm making these numbers up out of my head right now. And so I don't know how they're going to add up. I might have to go back and readjust that. Ideally, you want to have your categories decided on and how they're going to their weights before you set the grade book up. That should be in your syllabus. So I'm going to have discussions. I'm going to have quizzes, um, and I think I want to add a study plan category. So I'm going to do one more category, and that's going to be study plans. And I'm going to keep that at 10. I'm going to manually distribute weights. I'm going to save and close. If I want, all right, so now I'm going to go back into my bulk edit and I'm going to start assigning items to categories. So this is a discussion, so I'm going to put that into discussions. Here's a quiz. I'm going to put that into quizzes. Attendance is 10. This demonstration, I'm going to put that into um, study plans just for the heck of it. Student introduction, I'm going to put that into discussions and then study plans, quiz. Here's another study plan. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to organize all of my gradebook items into the appropriate categories, and that is going to start cleaning up my gradebook. So now um, I I'm still having some problems. So my final calculated grade not equaling 100 is because I don't have things categorized. And I also am going to need to check that my category weights add up to 100. So setting categories, getting your grade items into categories, and doing that through the bulk edit tool um, is is where you're going to take care of that. One of the other issues that we frequently have with gradebooks is assignments that are in our assignments section of our Brightspace, but are not in our gradebook, or things not linking between the gradebook. So when you're in the manage grades, um, you can go to grade items and you can edit them. What was this one? This is a quiz. Um, make and if I go to my grade book here, I'm gonna go um, and if I click on the drop down menu and I look at properties, it's going to tell me where it's associated in other places in Brightspace. If it is associated with an assignment and what that assignment is and the information in that, or if it is not associated with an assignment, then that's going to tell me where that I need to fix that. So like if I click on one of these, I look at properties, this is going to tell me, so this is associated with an ELT, an external learning tool. So that's going to tell me where those are associated. If there's an assignment in my assignments that does not have this symbol next to it, that means that it is not in the grade book. And so I'm going to need to edit that assignment and I'm going to need to make sure that I get it into the grade book. And then I can choose to edit or link it to an existing assignment. I can take it out of the grade book. Um, I can uh, put it back in the grade book. If you have your assignment or your discussion post created in assignments or in discussions, and it's not showing up in the grade book, editing that specific assignment where you to put it in the grade book is where you want to go for that. Yeah. So our grade book not equaling what it needs, the correct number of points or weights that it needs, or the and items not being categorized. Those are some, or not being connected into the gradebook. Those are some of the common issues that we have with gradebooks, and those are some ways to correct those issues. So I hope that this has been helpful. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me, email, phone call, stop by my office in Jalbert 203, or the Faculty Center in 203 and 205, and we can get things straightened out. So I hope that you have a good semester with your students.